everyone, welcome back. It is day 2 of our prep today. Yet again, I forgot to do an intro this morning, so I'm doing it at night, out in the dark and the rain. Now, I kept it pretty simple today. I had some work to get done, and the video for yesterday was late to go up, so I had some stuff to do there too. So we just did a fair bit of baking and stuff today, so come along and see what we got accomplished today, and join us again tomorrow and see what else we get done then. I really do need to get started on all those plums and tomatoes and stuff, so I probably will have to do that tomorrow. I'm not going to have much of a choice. So see you tomorrow, and we'll see how much we manage to get done. Thanks for watching. At the beginning of the month, and when we have an abundance of vegetables in the garden, which isn't right this minute, I need to get my timing a little bit better so we don't have this period of time where we have limited vegetables coming out of the garden. Something to work towards. We do vegetables and meat in the cast iron as meals on a regular basis. So regularly for breakfast, we quite often even have it for dinner. The kids love it as well, but Darryl and I tend to eat it just as most meals when we've got it, because we want to use up the veggies that we bought, but it's just a filling, tasty meal. So we do it all in the cast iron. We do the potatoes in first, and if you use a lid over the potatoes in the cast iron, they're going to steam as well as fry, so you'll get them cooked through nice, but you'll also get that crispy exterior when you take the lid off. We marinate our chicken thighs. I'm only doing a small batch here. I will do the rest eventually, and I generally cook it all off and then vacuum seal it up and put it in the freezer so that we can pull it out at any time that we want to have this meal, or for using in our pastas or anything else. I'm using the cowboy candy brine here to marinate the chicken. We really like that slightly sweet vinegary flavour on the chicken. When you cook it in the cast iron, it caramelizes a bit around the edges and it makes it really nice. I also use paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, whatever I have around. I don't really have ratios. I will try and take a bit more notice so that I can share, but at the moment I tend to just throw it all in till it looks about the right colour, and then mix it up and let it sit. The longer you let it sit, obviously the better, but we regularly just make it 10 minutes before I'm going to cook it off. So we fry that off, and we fry all the vegetables off, and then we tend to serve it all up together. We use ghee in the cast iron when we need to add some fat to the pan, and normally we serve it up with some of the duck egg mayo. I didn't have any this morning made up, and I just didn't get around to making more. Bit of flaked salt, some of the onion jam sometimes. Darryl will sometimes put a bit of the actual cowboy candy solids on top as well. It really is just a very versatile dish that's tasty on its own, but you can add any flavours you want that happen to be in your kitchen or garden at the time. So we have it very regularly. I also had to spend some time today rewriting out my recipe book notepad, which you'll have seen on Instagram if you follow me there. One of the kids knocked it off a bench or something, I don't know, but it ended up in a puddle and I found it sopping wet, so I wanted to make sure that I copied it all out into a new book before it dried and the pages stuck together, and I wasn't going to be able to get anything out. I don't keep very good notes about what I'm cooking, but I'm trying really hard, and to have that notebook go missing would have been a big dent in the notes that I have been trying to keep. I decided to try and make up a bit of a cookie recipe with some of the bananas, rather than just making banana bread, being that they would be portioned out into serves, which would be handy. So I wanted to make a cookie with oats and a bit of almond meal, nice high protein, the bananas. I put it all together with some eggs, a bit of maple syrup, mashed up the bananas and mixed it. Unfortunately, as I was filming, at some point the camera has kicked out, so I will have to make them again to figure out exactly what I put in there, because I was going to go back over the footage to figure it out and then share it once I had figured out what I put in there. But they turned out quite well. The batter thickened up as you left it because of the oats sucking up some of the liquid, and I powdered some of the oats into oat flour as well to help with that. And then I basically just placed them on the tray into semi-rounds, knowing that they weren't going to spread too much, nor were they going to rise. They were going to cook in pretty much the shape they were. I have made similar sort of breakfast cookies before, and they don't do much more than what you put on the tray at the time. And this is them from the oven. As you can see, they don't change much in the cooking process. They just become a little firmer to the touch. They do firm up the longer they cool. So when you first pull them out, they're quite soft. So you need to be fairly careful about transferring them onto a cooling rack. And then as they cool further, they end up a bit more crispy but still soft on the inside. They are a very soft biscuit, so they're not to some people's taste. Of course, they're sort of like porridge in a biscuit. I regularly make this apple cinnamon slice thing cake that the kids really enjoy. It's I use canned apples or fresh apples or whatever I happen to have. Sometimes I puree it, sometimes I stick it in chunks. The kids do prefer it in a puree, and I'm thinking that if I make some apple butter, I could possibly use apple butter in this as well. I just throw everything into the Thermomix or a food processor if you had a food processor, and I'm sure you could probably do it in the KitchenAid as well, especially if you were doing the apples in chunks. But I just blend it all up into a thick batter, and then I spread it all out into the tray and then bake it. It's a mild tasting apple cinnamon cake. Again, there's not much in it that's an issue, so it can be served for morning teas and breakfasts and things like that. It's a easy reach single serve item that the kids can grab to eat when they're whinging about being starving, and you know full well that they've had plenty to eat and I'm busy with other things going on in the kitchen. I always just use the finger test for checking if it's done. If it bounces back, then you're pretty right. I just served the kids up some bolognese for dinner because I haven't put it in the freezer yet, so it was nice and simple. Packet pasta, bolognese sauce mixed up in a big bowl, and they served themselves one of their favourite meals. And for Darryl and I, because I didn't have any sourdough pasta made up, I made us meatballs with mashed potato, very rustic mashed potato, no effort put in there, some steamed veg, and these were just frozen veg that I steamed up, and then meatballs and a generous drizzle of gravy. It's a perfect comfort sort of a food. Thanks again for joining me on this fairly quick day of baking. It's going to be a bigger day tomorrow. I definitely need to get moving on the plums and tomatoes, so I will see you then.